it is just about 6 o'clock on May 15th. Welcome to the regular select board meeting. I'm going to call the meeting to order. First thing is set or adjust agenda. Do we have any agenda items we want to remove or add? Nope, hearing none.
No report from HPD?
No, not tonight.
Need to take it off?
Yeah, it's not really an agenda item. It's just,
Oh, I see.
no Mike Henry tonight.
Never mind.
Okay. Next, communication from the audience. I think everybody's here to discuss things on our agenda. Next, select board to approve minutes from last time, which was May 1st. Do we have a motion to that effect?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion on the minutes or changes? All right, so all in favor of approving the minutes as written, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, select town manager report, Mr. Upson.
This is the most exciting part.
We're on the edge of our seat.
Oh, we are, yeah, right there.
But
We're right on the edge
We're
of the
on the edge of our
seat.
seat.
you should be.
Okay,
There's a lot going on in town. All good. Downtown looks great,
yep.
and I'll save the crosswalk conversation for.
Don't, you don't gotta, you can spiel it right out. That's
No.
what we did, yeah.
So we've been working on getting the final documents together for the pedestrian bridge project. SE Group's been helping us peel the bridge and wall apart in the contract documents, which we should have thought about.
Mm-hmm.
But we found out that, I don't know if I told you this last time, but the BABA requirements,
You did not tell us.
the BABA requirements are not required in this project.
Thank goodness, Baba.
Baba means what?
Buy America, build America.
Right.
We have to buy American products. And because this was obligated prior to that law, we don't have to go through it, and it's gonna help us save money during the electrical parts, the electrical components of the bridge, the lights and stuff, so.
Okay.
So we had to pull that out of the contract docs too. So that's moving along. I received them from SE Group today, commented, sent them back, and then they should be finalizing them, and then we'll send them to our council, and they're gonna do an opinion, and we should be able to sign those soon.
And our contractor is still ready and waiting?
Yep.
Great.
He's happy. I've given him a little bit of,
Keeping him in the loop a bit.
yep,
Yeah.
and he's got some benchmarks, so he's starting to think about
Great.
elevations and stuff. I wonder, probably the next meeting we'll have to approve that bid, because we haven't done that yet,
Okay,
so.
yep.
And when does the permit get applied for the working in the river?
The permit they've been extended, so we have the permits.
Oh.
Yep,
okay.
we're all set. We've been getting out the trailhead, pause place, and trailhead proposals for construction. That's another, we're looking for quotes. I think we've gotten out 2. I was hoping for a 3rd tonight, but failed on that one. Paving bids for Center Road went out today. And then we've been working on the fire station discussion with FEMA, so we're circling around to that. I met with the engineers last week on a sewer upgrade up in Hideaway Acres, but we also talked about the wastewater upgrade, and it looks like that the USDA is gonna be able to fund a fairly substantial portion of our wastewater plant. So we're starting those conversations on kind of our next steps with that.
And FEMA's still invested to the extent that they want to be in that.
FEMA has till July 14th to give us an offer, and they have all the information.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
So we haven't gotten a monetary offer from FEMA yet, but.
Okay.
Yeah. And actually, the deadline of July 14th is for us to appeal it, so we have to get it before that.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right,
So there's a lot of moving parts right now.
yep.
And then the fire station discussion is just kind of wrapping the 2 disasters together and trying to figure out the best scenario for funding the relocation of it. And Kristen's helping me with that.
Great.
And we're trying to wrap that into a floodplain restoration potentially with the MPG, because where the fire station is.
So just.
Currently.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. I'm just thinking, with the current climate for grants and just the fact that, like a town highway garage probably wasn't ever the best candidate for a lot of grant money.
It's not gonna be grant funded.
The highway garage portion, but the tack we've taken, which I do think is the right tack, is to look at, repositioning everything on Creamery Road to
Yeah.
get, fire, rescue, and highway garage all there together.
We could likely get the site improvements and the fire station funded partially. And then the rescue, they're doing their thing right now. They're kind
Right.
of on the fence with some things, in terms of how they wanna commit to the project.
I'm not as concerned about, I mean, I know there's still a lot of like loose ends in terms of fire and rescue, but those are very likely to be funded to a
Correct.
substantial amount.
Yeah, so if we can get the site improvements in those 2 buildings funded, then we have to bond for the
For the garage.
garage, which VLCT said they very rarely see a grant for a new town garage.
So just plan on, you're gonna have to bond for the garage.
Yeah. So we're gonna try to push as much cost into those projects.
Well, I
for
mean,
site
it's
improvements-
legitimate.
For site improvements.
I mean, where we wanna put
Right,
the fire department,
Yeah.
involves a lot of site work.
yeah.
So where is the rescue squad at these days, as far as,
They're not sure if they want to lease the building from us,
right,
or own the building.
so they still really haven't,
No.
neither, wait, so I'm not.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they are.
We're not-
behind- They're not behind us, but they're certainly not ahead of us.
Our
Right.
next step is construction documents. It's construction plans.
In
Because we've
terms
got
of-
this conceptual thing, we've got a price,
So
potentially.
we go to construction plans before we accepted one of those conceptual plans?
No, but that's our next step, once we accept the conceptual plans.
And
Right, after?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I agree.
I'm just thinking ahead to how's the funding gonna work out? And it sounds like
It's a sort
it's
of.
likely to
here
have
still.
funding
Yeah.
for the fire and for rescue,
Yeah.
and it's likely they're
It
gonna
sound-
bond
Yeah,
for the garage.
honestly, our town garage funding is the easiest.
Yeah,
We know we got a bond.
yeah,
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's a no-brainer, right? So that timeline is, we gotta do that when it's time to do that.
Right.
That's not, you know what I'm saying?
so public
So that-
messaging and public engagement is gonna be
We
important on
should
that.
be getting.
I think it's very important because if we put the fire department where it's drawn on some of those conceptual plans, that means the town highway garage will have been demolished to put it there. So we really need the town,
Right.
we can't proceed.
No, it sounds like that's gonna have to happen when it happens.
Yeah.
There's gonna be no options,
We-
there's no need to wait,
Right,
you know?
yep.
We could build that highway garage whenever.
Yeah.
I guess
right.
that's kind of where I'm going, is
That
that,
might be,
that might be it, yeah.
Yeah, but don't we need to do site work for it too? So
but
that
that's
would
gonna
make-
happen before the other 2 buildings anyway, so
Right, but if we could tie
we
in
should be
the,
on the.
but if we could tie the
problem.
site work into the funding for.
That's my goal.
Right, so it wouldn't make sense to do the town garage first.
It might,
Well, we could do a lot of the site improvements.
Right, yeah, and I don't know, so
Going-
actual, the grant, the site improvements we're talking about being grant funded aren't the digging of the foundation for that. So you see what I'm saying, they're more
for the town
drain,
garage.
parking, all that stuff.
Oh, it's more like brownfield, stormwater, that kind of stuff, the stuff you don't see.
Right, but what I'm saying again is that
Yeah.
we still should think about,
And probably demo of the existing garage and rescue.
but that all has to happen before the other buildings are started.
I think the town garage needs to be built first.
Yeah,
Yep. Let's do it.
Okay,
especially if we.
next.
Well, no, it's serious.
It's true.
thing.
No, it
We've
is.
talked about it a long time.
Yeah.
And no matter what happens as far as public infrastructure, I don't believe it's gonna ever be any cheaper to wait to do
Yeah.
it.
Everything
So
gets
I would
expensive,
say-
more
Nothing
expensive.
is gonna be
Just
cheaper
gets more.
tomorrow than it is today, no matter what you're talking about. So,
Bringing that up, I think then maybe this next town meeting is we bond for it, and then by then we'll have construction drawings for it.
And then get it rolling. And
Yeah.
that'll also move the whole, when we
Yep.
get grant money
Yep. I like it.
forward. It's got, our plan is started.
Have a new town garage by next summer, end of next summer.
I won't hold my breath.
Yeah, we will. We'll get there.
So will we
At least have it,
Yep,
the paperwork done next
Ready
summer
to
would be
go.
quite a plus.
yeah.
It would be amazing. So don't we have in the scope, the current scope for the architecture folks, there's some public engagement in their current scope, isn't there?
No, they're done with their
Otherwise.
current scope.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
The conceptual that we have or what we just choose, and that phase is done.
Mhm.
Going forward
Well,
is more,
yeah.
but,
All right.
I mean, we've talked about this for
Yeah.
15 years I've been around, and it's
This is
not-
the most
I'll
headway
put
we've
this-
ever made.
I will
Well,
put this
it's
on-
time that we have no excuse not to move forward at
I'm-
this point.
I'm gonna put this on an agenda item for next meeting,
Yeah.
so
Great.
we can discuss it a little bit more.
Great.
So that's all I got.
Awesome.
Yeah.
More questions for OP or rabbit holes to send them down like I just did? Yeah. All right, so next up is road foreman report, Tom Fadden.
Yeah, grading wise, Macville area, Hopkins Hill area, that's completed. Hardwick Farms area, along with the Porter Brook area, that's completed. Today they made it from Bridgman all the way to Harold McCoy, straight out through, and I think they ended up getting just a few of the side roads done. So that's done. Of course, Main Street, like Oak said, we've seen everything that we've done downtown. We've been working up in our own pit, moving the silt pile up there for the crusher to get ready for that to come in. I think they're still on schedule towards the end of June up there, so we had to move a big pile of silt up there so they could get the crusher back in there to be compliant for them shop.
And the crusher is the same folks who came last year?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they're gonna start out on the stone first.
Okay.
So they'll do the stone first, and then we'll go over to the gravel, then they'll go down below and, after the screenings there, of those, and make us some mud season material down below.
Okay.
So that's in the works for that. The water main break on Main Street, well, it technically weren't the main broke, but it was the cork that fed the Hardwick Gazette. Of course, that was a 3 different night chore that we ended up doing. Well, the first night, there was 2 other taps that we did on Main Street before. We never had to deal with concrete. Well, apparently, when they did this one, it looked like they poured the concrete back into place. So we had to get the jackhammer here from Gravels there, so they jackhammered that out. Then when we dug it up, that next night there, got down below, the cork had broke off. So that's what was actually leaking, and we don't really have repairs for the corks, which you need new saddles for. So
The corp is the
Well, you had an
union.
8-inch, but you.
yeah, well, we got 8 and 4 because that's commonly what we do taps for people around the village and stuff, and that's what we usually have in the ground, and not 10-inch. So that's a 10-inch main there that runs up through Main Street.
Interesting.
So we put a wraparound on it just to seal it up, and then we hunted around, and I think E.J. Prescott had the only one in the state. So Casey ran down that night for us, and we did that Saturday night. It's like water was only off for like 15 minutes. That's how quick the repair could have been. So that's all completed and done. Next week, we did get the banners today, Sherry. So do the banners and flags next week, and finish up downtown painting. Crosswalks, I don't think we'll be able to finish those just because of the temperatures next week. It's supposed to be like
Can you
50s.
Oh,
You know,
nice.
spotty showers and stuff like that, so I don't think we'll, because we've got one crosswalk, I think, that's left down by the village, parking lot that goes over towards the old,
Yeah.
flood zone there.
Yeah.
That's the only one that we don't have done for the entire Main Street area and stuff. Plus the ones going up through here. We did do them all in the red and white stripes, because I ordered 20 gallons last fall. So we were all set for the spring, and then once we get up to East Hardwick, we'll do the same thing up there. If they want that color or
I
whatever.
think they do.
So we'll do the same thing up there. So next week, hopefully we'll get a load of hot mix too, just try to do some patching up for the parade day. Sweeper was through. I haven't had a chance to talk to him because I ain't seen him back yet. I think he's done everything. I'm not sure. But, you know, next week, I already told the guys that we'll go out with our own little sweeper. If there's a little mess here and there we need to clean up, we'll end up doing that, so.
The rain will help this weekend.
Yeah, it should settle the dust down a little bit and stuff, so. But continue plugging along, so.
Seemed like I only saw one direction with the sweeper going up, turning on Highland and then going up. It was just on one side.
They were here and then they were gone,
Gone,
and then
yeah.
they were back and
So maybe they
gone.
did the other
Right.
side and I didn't notice
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Because I saw them the other day in town real quick, and
Huh.
they were going up Church Street here, so.
Hmm.
We'll connect with them and find
Yeah.
out what their plan is.
So did you guys update our water and sewer inventory to indicate you have a 10-inch main on Main Street so that in future?
It's noted.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I know it's noted in your brains
Oh, it
right now,
switches so
but,
many times.
oh, it does?
Yeah, because there's actually a section up through Main Street that's actually 8-inch.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So you don't know what you're gonna get till you dig?
No, no, but we know that's the biggest up through there, it's 8 and 10 up through there.
Wow.
So, once you cross the bridge, come up through here, then it's 12-inch. So,
It's like Cracker Jack, it's a prize in every box. Yeah,
big stuff up
That
from
way
the
everywhere.
1940s, you know,
Yeah.
you don't know what you're gonna get, so.
right. All right.
So the crosswalk that's out here that goes from the driveway to the driveway, we're not gonna redo, right?
Yeah, we talked about that, me and Opie talked about that, and
Before-
I mentioned to Eric that since half the curbing's gone on the other side by the library, once we start on these sidewalks here, it's not gonna be a problem to rip, the rest of that out over there, so we can make it ADA accessible right there, and then we'll put a crosswalk right here.
That'll make a lot more sense. I think.
On the corners.
Yes,
Where
Yeah, over
everybody
here.
walks
Yeah.
anyway.
yes.
Yeah, and so that one will finally go away.
Yes.
Great. And the signs will just move up here or something.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. It'll be nice to see that happen.
Yeah, it's nice. Thank you.
Okay.
Progress.
Yeah.
Oh, water meter pit, update
Oh,
on
yeah.
that. We got all the names of everybody that we're gonna be doing up around there. Right now, I'm just waiting for parts to come in, like for sandboxes, just parts and pieces that we need to connect from, from the meter pits to their service, whether it's galvanized or whatever, so we're just waiting for all that stuff to come in right now. So,
Great. Thank you. Next up, police department report. You have anything to report for them, or?
The speed signs.
Oh, yeah, Amanda and I fixed the speed sign on Mill Street.
Nice.
And Scott's been charging and changing
Yep,
the other speed
we've been
signs.
moving the portable signs.
Okay.
Amanda's been key on the radar signs.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Good.
I'm gonna give her a ticket book. What do you think?
It's a good idea. Why not? All right. Next up is Hardwick Electric report. It says Roger Prevost, but it looks a lot like Sarah.
Yes, Roger was unable to come, so I am here in his stead, and I appreciate you guys having us here. It's been busy, 5 months in, and it's hard to believe it hasn't been longer, to be honest. But there has been a lot of activity. Hardwick has filed several regulatory compliance filings, including our integrated resource plan, which is a long-term planning document that encompasses least cost integrated planning and project improvement and system improvement analysis. That was kind of exacerbated and challenged because we just entered into or kicked off our power systems engineering study, which will be occurring throughout the next several months, and we anticipate receiving a comprehensive report in November that will help us identify and prioritize system improvement projects and also work towards what those costs could be, where we should begin, what's going to have the greatest benefit and return on system losses and things that can contribute to overall costs when we look at the transmission level. Which is the segue into the fact and the elephant in the room that Hardwick would have to file for a rate increase at 13.24%. That was filed at April 16th, and it is largely due to increased O&M costs and also power supply, in particular transmission costs. So there's system losses that occur beyond what we are selling for revenue and just participating in the market, and that has driven up significantly with various offshore and overall system capacity for the grid in New England and across the country. Let's see. We've had a few folks comment individually already and encourage people to engage in the public process with the Public Utility Commission and Department of Public Service. Their recommendation whether to accept or reduce that rate increase is expected at the end of this week. In the meantime, progress continues to be made on the Wolcott Hydro feasibility study. We issued a request for qualifications. Those bids were received and evaluated, and on Tuesday of this week, the Board Commission authorized for a vendor to enter negotiations, which has started, and ideally, once we get that feasibility study done, we will know the estimated costs and best path forward for future operations and whether it still makes economic sense. And then construction and design can confirm that. It's a long process. We are getting a lot of pressure from FEMA to close out the 2023 flood projects, but of course, the generating station has a lot of elements to it, and there was damage that occurred, in 24 as well. So we're working with FEMA, our consultants, and everyone else really to try and get this going and move it along as fast as we can. That's a huge offset of general power supply costs as well. We are also entering into contract negotiations, which is, labor and personnel costs, that's adding into O&M, but at the same time, as across the board, healthcare, as you all know, has increased substantially. We have kicked off in early May our GIS project, which is partially supported and funded through our membership with Vermont Public Power Supply Authority. It's a, grant and member led project, so we're being able to move that forward, get that GIS mapping, so that we can better track assets and note asset conditions as this engineering analysis comes in as well. That will also help with outage management. Once we have those actual meters and customers identified on a map, then we'll be able to publish more regularly and more time-based outages and things like that. So it's an enabling technology. Also through VEPSA, there's the AMI project, which the first tranche and test utility has started to deploy those meters, which means that once all that testing is done, the rest of the members can start to order and determine exactly where those system, DCUs and equipment needs to be so that we are ready for deployment, which will also increase customers' visibility into their energy usage and, streamline our processes as well. Let's see. We've all been happy. In the meantime, once we receive that capital project planning support and documentation through the study, we're exploring various funding mechanisms so that we can actually bond for it or something so that we can actually spread out those costs long term. And that has been not always the case in seeking the bonds instead of seeking a bond for capital projects versus paying cash. And so we're really trying to balance where that is so that we can have these projects and improvements underway. In the meantime, we do have a line of credit increase, which you guys, I believe, will be voting on or seeing next meeting, and that is to really bring our cash flow line of credit into alignment with other utilities in the state, other municipals, that basically keeps like a 2, 3, and maybe 6 month cash reserve that you don't necessarily use all the time, but it's there if you need it in case of an emergency or a cash shortfall. So we're hoping to get that in place so that there's no delay in that it's there and available.
Yeah.
Any questions?
When you mentioned AMI getting started with some like test sites or something, is that in Hardwick or is that in broader VIPSA service area?
So the first utility is Swanton Electric, and
Okay.
VEPSA's actually launched an AMI info website, and that actually lists Hardwick's tranche starting in tail end of 26 and into 27. So they'll identify and narrow down where the communications, network equipment has to go, and then actually order those meters, get them installed, and move over there.
Great. And you also said people have been commenting on the rate case, and folks can comment, and if they want to do that, the best way to do that is to go to the PUC website. Is that correct?
EPUC.gov.
EPUC.gov. Got it. All right. Anybody else have anything? Thank you. Where are we? Item 1. Select Board to consider approving several liquor and tobacco licenses. We have a list. That's probably why Alberta's here.
She just wanted to come visit.
That's nice of her. Where is it? It's in here somewhere. I saw it. There it is. Got it. So, in our memo, we have second-class licenses for Hardwick Convenience and Deli LLC, and Buffalo Mountain Co-op Incorporated. Also a tobacco license for Hardwick Convenience and Deli LLC, and a tobacco substitute endorsement for Hardwick Convenience and LLC. All applications and renewals have no infractions. What's your pleasure?
Motion to approve all. Can we do them all at once?
Second.
Who's Hardwick Convenience?
Quick Stop over by 14.
Corner store, 14 and 15.
Any other discussion? All in favor of approving all of these licenses, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Alberta. Next up is item 2, which is a certificate of application for Gates Salvage Yard to continue operating their salvage yard. It looked like we last did this in 2020, so it must be a 5-year renewal cycle.
Is this a likeness of what one would look like if it's filled out?
Right, except this one is filled out. There is one here that's
Oh, there
filled
you
out.
go. All right,
So-
that's fine. I just wondered.
Make a motion to approve that?
Do we sign it?
Is that what goes?
Yes.
Wait till you
Oh.
vote.
I make a motion to.
There's a timestamp on your signature.
Aye.
Yeah,
Second.
I make, yeah, there you go.
Okay, in a second. Any more
For 5
discussion?
years.
Did you get
Huh?
that?
For 5 years.
For
Sure.
5 years.
Okay.
That's what Tim said.
We get to choose?
Do we get to choose the term?
I think so. Last time you did 5 years.
5 years, I don't care.
That's
5
fine.
years is fine with me, absolutely fine. I would give them lifetime lease on it. I like that. It's his land. It's their land.
All right.
Can I sign it?
No, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Sign away. All right. Next is item 3, select board to review and consider selecting an engineering firm for the design and engineering work for Fisher Folly Bridge and authorize the town manager to sign a contract with a chosen company. So it looked like we had one such firm,
One proposal for each of the 2 RFPs.
and fortunately, I don't know that the firm name is, it seems like the name has changed, but.
Well, it's
but
still
Doug-
Horizon.
Price.
It's still Horizon,
Yeah.
and now Verdantis bought Horizon.
Right. I talked to Doug just the
Yeah.
other day.
So,
But we'd still be dealing with Doug Weber, who's done a
Yes.
lot of work for the town over the years.
yeah.
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 So I'll just give you a rundown. For Tucker Brook and Cary Road, we have 250,000 allocated for A&E.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever we don't spend,
Mm-hmm.
it rolls into construction.
Great.
Okay, so their bid price was 118
Mm-hmm.
for both.
You sure?
Yep.
Are we on item number 4 for Tucker Brook?
I feel like we're
We're on
on
both.
3 and 4. We
Yeah.
just merged them on the fly.
Okay.
Sorry. So, which one do you want? I'll do just Fisher Folly first. So Fisher Folly, our A&E budget is 113, and their bid for the work was 78,000. So,
In the past, they've always been quite reasonable with their bids,
yeah.
Yeah, we're not gonna get a better
No,
deal.
especially if nobody else is bidding.
And we
But
meet-
even if they were.
And we put it out for advertisement.
Yeah.
And it meets all the requirements.
Okay,
So,
so nobody's gonna push back on us.
Right.
Okay.
Everybody had a chance.
so this is for Fisher Folly.
So do we make a motion on that one? Does that have to be separate?
Yes.
Make a motion to enter in a contract with Verizon and have OPD
Sign it.
the signer of said
Contracts.
contracts. There you go.
Okay.
Second.
Any more discussion on that? I mean, I just say,
I would like to just award them the entire amount up to 100% design and bid documents. That's the estimated, or not the estimated, that's
Yeah.
the additional work. I'd like to just do the whole thing.
Right.
yeah,
We put out the RFP as an additional piece for the bid docs and construction.
oh, but let's just
Yeah.
have them cruise right through.
Yeah,
We did authorize.
Well, that's
you to
in
do
here,
that.
right, is the estimated.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's 78,000 total.
yeah.
Yeah.
But he just wants our motion to reflect that
Oh,
we're
yeah.
doing both the architectural and engineering
take care of it.
and the
Construction.
construction bid documents.
Yeah.
Amanda
Or
writes much
construction
better than I speak.
documents.
thank God.
Okay, so that's a motion so amended.
Just to be clear, sorry.
Got it. No, it makes sense. So the whole package. I just want to note that reading through that, it's very clear that they have a lot of experience doing similar work.
Yep,
I mean,
yep.
Yeah, this work is,
right up their alley.
yeah, it's not difficult either.
Well, right, but you still need to hire someone to do
Yes.
it who knows
Oh,
what they're
no,
doing.
I agree, I agree.
I couldn't do it.
Right. Me too.
I could teach you.
All right.
The
so-
difficulty is to get the knotheads and the excavators to do it the way it's designed.
Oh,
Could be some of that.
yeah. All right.
Sorry.
Because naturally, the guy that's never dug any dirt knows a lot more about it than the guy that's dug dirt his whole life.
All right.
All right, enough of that.
Enough of that. So, any-
I'm not trying to
All in
throw
favor?
stones.
all in favor? So all in favor of awarding the bid to Horizons
You're not.
for the Fisher Folly Bridge, please say aye.
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 Stand around
Okay,
and
that's
say,
everybody. So motion passes.
I just said you're not.
And then next is item 4, which is same thing, but for Tucker Brook and Cary Road.
I make the motion that we enter into the contract with Horizon, authorize for the amount of 118,200, and authorize Opie to sign all documents.
100% of the design.
Yeah.
Okay.
Second.
And construction.
Design and construction
Oh, yeah, the whole
documents.
thing,
And what was the amount we had set aside?
whole enchilada.
250.
Can I just ask without a
And then
huge,
the balance goes into construction.
Right.
why are Tucker Brook and Cary Road together and Fisher Follies out on its own?
Because they're two small projects, and I
Okay.
put them together. Because
Okay.
they were put in a,
So in FEMA's system, they're to
Yes.
get, they're a project in that system.
yeah.
Okay.
No, I don't think they are.
Oh.
No
They're
real
two-
reason.
There's no real reason, I just wanted to get those two, those are
Yeah.
the two last ones.
I got
And
it.
they're both small, they're both small crossings.
Just wondering, it just seemed odd.
They're both similar sizes.
You're
Yeah.
hanging around with
Yeah.
me too long, but you stand out in slavery.
No,
All right.
that's a good question. No rhyme or reason, just,
Okay.
that's what I picked that day.
All right, good, fair enough.
Yeah.
And Horizon's gonna do it all for us anyways.
Yeah.
All right, so all in favor of approving Horizon for Tucker Brook and Cary Road bridges, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries on that one too. Thank you to Doug Weber and crew for actually getting us a bid. Item 5, select board to discuss emergency response efforts and potential purchase. This one seems a little bit, I was gonna say it seems like something that's gonna need a little bit of explanation.
Opie?
Hold on, there's supposed to be more people here.
I just texted
Thump,
Chris.
thump, that was us running Opie over.
Kristen was jumping on another meeting because she didn't think she had to get up here until 7, so.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be ready to adjourn by 7.
Helen Beatty and,
Yeah.
This is why I've said for 15 years, we shouldn't have times on the agenda. Meeting starts at 6. If you want to talk to us, be here.
So,
So,
this agenda item, you wanna shelve it?
No.
yeah,
How about it?
I do.
Okay, I'll bring it up, I'll bring it up.
Well, we have to, right?
I'll sell it, and they can help.
Thanks, Sarah.
So listen, this is, budget adjustment money, 75,000. And,
Whoa,
hold on,
We've spent that like 8 times.
no, we haven't,
Go on.
No.
no, we haven't. We bought the trailer with it,
Yeah,
okay?
that's all we've spent.
And we were directed by the governor's
to give
office
it away for foolish items.
to
Yeah.
to spend it on flood response and recovery,
Okay,
okay?
yep.
So,
Kristen's here.
we have, the neighbor to neighbor supply and support and shelter folks, along with our resiliency and recovery expert in the town, came up with a list of items to stock for flood response, and for the shelter supplies, which we have very limited shelter supplies. We had to borrow from St. Johnsbury. We kept like 6 cots. And the stuff on the list for supplies were hot ticket items during the
Yeah.
aftermath of the flood,
Yeah.
that were donated to us.
Yep, definitely.
And as we move forward with disaster response and recovery, we are seeing that there's less and less disaster relief at higher levels of government. So we're going to have to be able to do this stuff on our own. And if we put this stuff in place, and on top of this request, I'd like to request storage unit.
I was just gonna ask, where's it gonna live?
It's gonna live up at the public safety building with a 20-foot storage, a 20-foot cargo box in the parking lot.
Why not a 20?
And a rolling trailer for the shelter stuff.
Okay,
So I'm asking you tonight for $20,000, not to exceed.
oh, you can buy all that for 20?
Yep.
So why not,
Well, we can bump it up to 25. I know Danny's really
why,
interested in.
so I understand the trailer,
35.
I understand the trailer to house stuff at the, well, for the cots and stuff.
Yeah,
But why not a trailer also for stuff you wanna house up?
we could.
It just seems like it's more mobile. I feel like if you drop a Connex box up there,
Yeah,
it's gonna be in the way at some point.
right.
And if you had it on wheels, you could move it around.
Yeah,
And then you could also move it to where, like, if it turns out it needs
Right.
to go to Hazen, you
Yeah.
could move it there.
yeah. I think it's a great idea, and I think it's something that not only we can have in place for future disasters, but it's needed.
So, just to give us a rundown again, and for the listening public, we had, $75,000 that was directed, that was.
By the governor's
It
office.
came to us
Yeah.
from the state and for spending on flood-related.
Response and recovery. And we used it to buy a trailer for the excavator to be able
To
to
move
trailer the excavator to,
Sites that
Sites that
need
were
to be,
affected, yeah.
yeah, cause we do a lot of that during flood recovery.
Yeah.
I actually think most of this stuff is very small. And if,
And it would be assisting a lot of our businesses, for example, having verbal conversations with them. If we were to show up with a industrial fan that they could borrow for the day, if they're flooded, that they would see that as the town is listening. We're not able to do the mitigation projects as quickly as we want to, or they want to, but at least we're doing something to respond to the fact that they are getting flooded more often.
and I believe that this type of equipment was very heavily used after the last
It was.
floods, right?
And the Supply and Support Center has, Larry's here from them, they helped generate that whole list and what they experienced for 2 years. And then they also have a process in place to loan out and return. So they have tags, they have forms, they're all ready to go to be able to distribute items to people and to people who are the residents too. I had a resident who came to me the other day who doesn't typically talk to the town and said, you know, you guys really saved me by being able to loan me 2 industrial fans. I brought them back, which he did. And that meant a lot to him. He was able to make sure that his mobile home was able to continue to be lived in. So I think it's a way to work with the community at large and also be ready for the next disaster, whether it's a fire or a flood or whatever.
So,
and we had a lot of these items, like the first in
right,
23, hardware store from Jericho
yeah,
stocked us up.
yeah.
I don't know if that is gonna continue to go
Well,
that direction.
A lot of these items there's only, even now, you can only buy 5 of each of them. I mean, I did I did a comparison of 3. You didn't get that extended version, but I did 3
Quotes.
quotes for each item. And a lot of them are not available, limited availability, only 5 can purchase. The problem that we anticipate possibly seeing is there may be a lack of supply in the summer due to what's going on with the tariffs, etc. You know, that you're seeing that. There were some outfits that said these are in China and you're not going to get them until the fall.
Mhm.
You know,
So we just buy them as we can. So I feel like I talked and you guys have talked. Other folks on the board?
How much do we have left of that 75,000 allocation, and when do we have to spend that by? Like, what are the stipulations on that?
It was infused in this budget, so it'll just go into unearned and into the fund balance.
Okay.
And there's 40,000.
Say again?
40,000, according to Casey.
After this? No, before.
Before.
What do you think, Danny? I like it.
Oh, it's nice. I feel really good about it. Feel really good about myself.
Sherry?
I think it's fine. I just looking at certain things and wondering if we couldn't get them at wholesale somehow, but I guess we can't, so.
Like maybe there's enough volume to,
Yeah.
Those are the wholesale prices, Sharon. They're multiples, most of them are wholesale prices already. They're the prices of, these are the wholesale companies, and that's what they sell them for. But a lot of the wholesale companies are still in
Abishon,
China.
Home Depot.
Home Depot has much cheaper and has it here than even adding in the shipping.
Okay.
Line and the ones that have the wholesale prices, you are paying for the shipping on top of it from China. And if you add in the shipping for something that weighs 45 pounds.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah.
About shipping.
Is that, like, you're talking like Granger, Uline, and?
All of them did not, that's why I did the comparisons.
Yeah.
They none of them stepped out. This is Home Depot picking them up is the cheapest way to go.
And, yeah. Yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah. So do we authorize up to 20? Is that what you said? 20 would include the trailers. And I'm just assuming that we can't store Clorox in a trailer
I
at
bet you can.
varying temperatures.
No,
So it's gonna be hot there somewhere.
We would,
So we'd have to put that in
Yeah.
the
We-
community building.
we have a small location for the stuff that needs to be in a temporary location.
Yeah,
Most of the shelter supplies don't need to be,
yeah, really, that's the only thing I see
Yeah.
that looks a little sketchy
yeah.
in a trailer. Okay,
was that a motion?
yes, I'm sorry, that's a motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Any more discussion?
Danny, come on,
All in favor of, approving where are we? The purchases for emergency response, equipment not to exceed 20,000, please say aye.
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 Okay, opposed? Motion carries. Thank you to everybody who put together the list. Even though I know most of that stuff is stuff that was in use last time, I know it's a fair amount of work to itemize everything and get pricing, and appreciate it. Moving on, and thanks for coming.
I'm gonna go back to the CDPG meeting.
Next, item 6, yeah, we are preppers now.
Preppers now.
Select board to
Well, we
review
have
and
a whole
approve.
bunker of food.
That's good.
That's true. Select board to review and approve the loan documents for the SCRF program through Vermont Bond Bank for the lift station repairs. So this is a situation where our lift stations got flooded twice and need some pretty major upgrades. FEMA will reimburse, but it's a fairly big expense up front. Vermont Bond Bank is offering us 0% money.
Yep.
And
with $1 million forgivable if we can incorporate capacity upgrades.
oh,
Yes.
Yeah, it's a good deal.
Yeah.
So can I make a motion that we do this there? Whatever.
so I think what we want to do, or I think what you should do is make a motion to, or that the select board resolves to approve the loan documents.
For the SCRF program through the Vermont Bond Bank for the lift station repairs and
Yes,
capacity upgrades.
yes.
Second.
Nice
All right.
job.
Just flow.
That,
there,
it did,
you got
you,
there,
you got
Dave.
in the zone. Any discussion on this?
I met with Aldrich and Elliott last week, or
Mhm.
earlier, was it last week or, no, it was last Friday. We're just starting to, I have a set of plans that I grabbed from the wastewater plant, 3 summers ago. And they were in my office and they happened to have the lift stations on the plans. So they took the original plans, they're gonna make new copies of them.
You mean like as-built?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
So they're starting that process.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where will be, not to delay our vote, but where we'll be after approving this is
Basically,
just starting the
the money will
project.
be in the bank.
You'll
Yep.
get the money.
We're
and-
just getting the money right now.
Yeah, we're just putting that in place.
And
It's
we're pretty-
basically a line of credit.
And pretty sure it's enough to cover the project?
Yes,
Great.
for both of them.
Both lift stations,
Yeah.
all the engineering and
Yeah.
everything and
Yeah.
building them.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And then we'll be much more flood resilient in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Love
Yeah.
it.
And
So-
plenty of rubber gloves if something goes bad.
Too. And if, all right, motion on the table. You almost derailed me. Motion on the table is to approve the bond for the lift stations. Any more discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries, and there's quite a bit of stuff that some of us have to sign. There
Yeah,
might
you gotta
be-
sign.
Yeah,
Really?
oh, yeah.
All of us? We
Yeah,
all go down?
yeah,
Well, I did read the one sentence where it says that we resolve to repay it.
yes.
It's to the extent necessary or something like that, so yeah.
All right.
Good luck with that one.
Next, the select board to sign the FY '26 letter of intent for the municipal roads grant and aid program and authorize town manager to sign.
So moved.
Second.
I'll just throw out there, this is a program we've been participating in for, I don't know, 5, 6, anybody remember years? Number of years.
A long time.
Yeah, and it's been good for us, right, Tom?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we'd like to participate, I think. So all in favor of approving the intent letter and authorizing town manager to sign, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Did they sign?
Motion
that one?
carries.
No, I think you did.
Letter of intent?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Duly
I
authorized
do.
representative.
Okay.
that'd be you. You were just duly
David
authorized.
Epson, town
Junior,
manager.
yeah, town man, TM.
PM, best friends.
Next,
TM.
item near and dear to my heart, item 8, select
Good.
board to consider appointing a
That's why
town
Alberta
health
stuck
officer.
around.
Oh, yeah.
Alberta wants to do it?
We got it, yeah.
You got time.
I first
I'm not retired.
You have
I make a motion to
You have
accept
it-
the assistant town.
You have an interest in mold and, what's the other thing it said in the letter? Interest in mold and something else. So we did get a friendly reminder from the Vermont Health Department that we need to have a health officer. What has happened in the past is that if we don't appoint somebody, then they appoint me as chair of the select board,
And then I end up doing all of the
And then
work
it'll be-
as his deputy.
which is what, my deputy does the work
Issues
anyway.
associated with water, septic, mold, and other public health issues.
Alberta, doesn't it sound, come on.
Spells it right out. It's bold.
So it sounds like we just skip the middleman and make it open.
Yeah. It's been working
I
really
don't think I
well.
can be.
No.
But you can be the assistant and do the work, 'cause that's the way it's been for the last 2 town managers, so I vote we continue. I'm,
With the status quo,
Yeah.
meaning having me be on
Well,
the
there
town.
We
isn't
don't have
anybody
anybody
else.
Unless we can get a
A virgin
volunteer from the,
from
That
out
guy
there.
right
those people look a lot like us.
That guy right there.
You don't want me to have any kind of authority like that.
So I will say
Too
that since the fire marshals have been picking up a lot of the rental stuff, or almost all the rental stuff.
All the rental stuff.
It's hugely helpful.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize it.
Yeah, so they picked up the rental, and they've been,
Rental inspections.
been really good about keeping us in the loop, and
So they actually are doing inspections.
they're, yeah, and they
And that's
actually
the state
know what
fire
they're doing.
marshal, or-
It's our regional
Oh, I did not know that.
Sean,
Good job.
Goodell.
there we go.
Well, that doesn't even sound like government. How'd that work out?
The state mandated that the beginning of 2024, I think. That's when that changed. Which was great, because before it was like me and Opie
Well, it
going in
wasn't
with a
being done.
checklist.
Yeah,
No, we
well,
got the
before
calls.
that, it was
Most
Richard.
places it will probably was, it might have been
And Eric was like, "Did you see that?" And I'm like, "No, I don't see anything."
Yeah, well, great. So let's continue. Sounds like our program's working.
So we just move on to the next item and we don't nominate anyone?
Well, you're it by default, is what you're
I
saying.
nominate the select board chair, Eric Remick.
Yeah.
I mean, we could not nominate anyone and wait for the state to default to me, or we could just nominate me.
When does that happen?
I don't know.
Let's just
What do you
nominate.
pre- what do you
what's
prefer?
working
'Cause
on.
it's gonna go to
I
you
move,
anyway.
You may as well.
I would appreciate if you set the nomination for town health officer.
All right. We have one nomination for Eric Remick. Any other nominations? Hearing none, all in favor of
Can't
appointing
believe Alberta
Eric
didn't step up to the
Remick
plate.
as town
Yeah, I
health
can't
officer,
believe it.
please say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
All opposed?
What if we?
Motion carries. I abstain.
Yeah, you need to get out there and start looking for somebody to take that spot.
I know. Item
I
9,
think Jan would do a good job with that.
there you go.
Yeah.
Select board to discuss moving the June 19th select board meeting to the 26th, as the 19th is a holiday.
What's the holiday?
Juneteenth.
Do we have to discuss this? If this is a holiday, can't we just move it?
Wait, what is
Well,
it?
it was on our select board calendar.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
It's a holiday like you guys don't work.
Yeah,
Correct.
they negotiated it in their
It's
last
a
union.
holiday.
It's
Well,
a
we-
federal
It's a
holiday.
Federal holiday.
We have it
Federal
on too.
holiday.
So it's a federal, so why would we meet?
We shouldn't.
Right? Let's push it out.
Let's just not have one.
Oh.
And then we skip the 4th too, so see you in August, baby.
Danny's a thinker.
Have one meeting in June, come back 1st August.
I kinda like that.
Oh, man.
Wait,
Well, I
wouldn't
think
we
that
come,
we're gonna
wouldn't we
have
come
some-
back the end of
Democracy is
July?
Quite a few
falling
things
apart.
happening in town, so.
No, I don't care. Doesn't matter to me.
It is, oh no, this is June. Oh, yeah.
That's why
Okay.
it's called Juneteenth. Eric.
Yeah, sorry, I was in
Yeah,
July.
so-
I was in July with you,
Right, so June, so we'll meet the
last Thursday in June.
1st and the last.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Somebody make a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Anybody want to second that? Moving it from the 19th to the 26th of June. Nobody wants to second that?
Second,
Thank you. All in favor, please say
Do we
aye,
absolutely need a meeting?
the 5th and the 26th, yeah, because we skipped.
because we're gonna skip July 4.
So we would be on the 5th,
The 20,
The 5th, the 26th.
June-
and
June
17th.
5th.
Oh, yeah,
5th, 26th,
17th.
and then the
and
17th.
17th.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
that's
kinda
fine.
need that.
That's perfect, actually.
It is, it's better
It's-
space.
We
Yeah,
actually
it's
have a
busy.
meeting on July 10th. We moved it up because of scheduling conflicts on the 17th.
Jesus.
Oh, boy.
yeah.
So
All
it,
right.
it will be the 26th and then July
Let's
10th.
Look at my calendar.
Oh, so you bumped it a
July
week?
We bumped it up a week, yes.
There's a conflict on the 17th.
Casey and I are both out.
Oh,
10th. So if you wanna take notes.
so the select board meeting gets moved.
We know who really runs things around.
Apparently, very obvious.
All right, so all in favor of moving that June meeting, please say aye.
And we didn't even get to ask about the July meeting, we just got told.
Right, yeah.
So why
used
are
to
we
be.
voting on this one?
I don't know, it's a good question.
When do you want us to meet?
Just to make you feel better.
Yeah, well,
So-
cat's out of the bag.
We already had all in favor for moving the June meeting.
And the
I said
July
aye.
meeting,
The July
said
meeting
aye.
was,
And
on
I'll
the
say aye.
original schedule in March.
you're saying aye?
oh,
I guess
well,
so.
you
We already
guys,
passed
then
that
all
schedule
opposed?
Without notice.
So-
We're having a vote, hang
Yes.
on, we're voting about the moon.
sorry.
About the moon, voting about the June.
You have a gavel.
I know, so all,
Hit him with it.
so any opposed?
No.
Okay, so motion carries about moving the June, and then what is it about July? Like we already
Yeah,
did
right.
it?
That was
So
already
they're
on
both,
the
what are
calendar.
they,
It's on the
they're.
calendar.
Oh, it was in
So-
the calendar we
Already
approved,
approved.
that's right, the
All
initial
of Our
calendar.
staff that is in charge of our money is
Yeah.
going to be gone together to the Virgin Islands in July.
That's a rumor. That's fake news.
Fake
You just
news.
said they're gonna be gone.
I said we were gonna be gone, not to Virgin Islands
Oh,
though.
where?
Danny, you can have this conversation after.
No, I'm just
All
kidding.
right, you're giving a hard
No.
time. All right, next item 10, select board discuss job description for new public works director. I thought it looks good.
Mine still stands. Nobody's offered up anything. Well, that's not true.
Eric just said Public Works Director. Danny, we talked about it last time. I'd like to see that
Well,
title
then you're gonna have to
instead
change
of
job
project
description and use
coordinator.
that title.
Sorry, say
You
again,
can put
Sherry?
it Director's fine.
Sherry, can you say again?
Director, it isn't a director, you guys. You can't, you're giving someone all kinds of mandates and responsibilities, and you're giving them you're not giving them the ability to do the job. So it's definitely not a director's job. You can't say you're gonna do this and then not give the person the ability to gather what he needs to do the job. So that's my opinion. You guys do whatever you want. But you can't say, do this, and if that, part of doing that relies on him getting things done, he's gotta have the authority to get things done. Require things of people that work
Yep.
in and around the project. That's
So,
my opinion, that's
yeah,
only my opinion.
Yeah, so I think, I hear you.
Just said it.
What about conductor?
So, hang on, I just wanna follow up, because I hear you, and here's what I think, and this is my response, as, you may be right. That's not how I'm looking at it right now, but you may be right, and the way that I'm thinking about it right now is, this is just a job description that we're gonna put out in the world, and hopefully we're gonna hire someone into a brand new position, and there probably is gonna be a little bit of learning on everybody's part, and maybe what actually happens is gonna change over time in order to make it work.
Right, I see this as semantics a little bit.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I think, to me, the biggest thing is getting somebody in here who understands
The need.
roads and bridges and project management.
And buildings.
And buildings and equipment,
Yeah.
and has some background that's relevant and is gonna play nice with others.
I was showing contractors attics last week.
Yeah,
Crawling into attics, showing them attics to insulate for MERC. Like, this is what I want this person to be doing.
Hope he wants a slave.
On
Yeah.
top of
one more,
existing conditions
yeah.
reports for buildings that we have not invested in. Asset management, project management, lining up if we're gonna hire contractors or lining up equipment for future jobs. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts to this job description. And realistically, is it one person? I don't think so. I think there's two people in this job description.
But
But
they'd
if
be
I-
working in close coordination with you.
Right.
And with Tom
Yeah.
and, the rest of,
Casey,
right, exactly, the rest of the
Amanda.
town.
The team,
yeah,
the current team,
Right,
they'd be another member of the team,
sure.
so.
I mean, I liked it, and I think you said, it's gonna be like an evolving thing as we get someone in here
Right.
with different skills and different expertise who
Mhm.
is gonna be able to work with and complement the different members of the team.
Mhm.
So I think we need to get it out sooner rather than later,
Mhm.
yesterday as opposed to today. And
I'd like some help with the hiring as well
Mhm.
from the select board.
you should have at least one select board person on a hiring committee,
Yep.
and you should have some of your staff, probably.
Yep.
Yep. And, I think it's also important to be realistic and realize you put together a job description and you're very unlikely to get somebody who checks all the boxes.
Right.
So you're gonna get somebody who knows some of this stuff and hopefully can hit the ground running on some of it, and then it's a cat.
I'm sure.
someone who's eager and willing to learn.
Right.
And who is,
Willing to take direction, work well with others.
right, adaptable.
Yeah.
Sounds like me.
So, what's your pleasure? Do you wanna move forward with this? Do you wanna change the title? Do you wanna make other changes, or we wanna just cut it loose and see who applies to?
I think you get it posted. Post it.
I'll do we make a motion to
No, there's no.
post the job description, action needed, it says.
Okay. Cool.
Motion to authorize the town office to
Yep.
post the job.
And organize the hiring.
Sure.
Okay.
All right. Do we have a second?
Second.
More discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
No,
Motion carries. Thank you. Next, select board reports, new business, old business.
I've got new business, but I'll wait until you guys are done.
I thought I had something, but now it's gone. So,
The townhouses project is moving along. It's supposed to be done now by mostly the 1st of July, although the lift for to make it accessible to the stage will go in mid-July, it sounds like.
Yeah.
So
You started.
it's coming along.
You
Have
started
checked?
after the
Have
library
you seen
project.
the clapboards are on the outside of the
Finished
building
before.
and, yeah, it's happening.
good.
Did you hear that?
What?
You started after the library project and you're gonna finish before. So, good on ya.
It's still over,
Nothing.
way too far over
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
time frame for me.
Yes.
They didn't work all winter, so.
And they
You
didn't
did
work
the
most of the
library.
fall, and they didn't work most of the spring
Yeah.
either.
Wow.
But they're on it now.
Great.
So,
Keep them rolling. All right, Opie, what do you got?
my new business is gonna be, there's gonna be a agenda item in the next meeting to repeal the trash ordinance. So,
It's gonna be on the
Repeal
docket
it
for
and
discussion.
Make it what? Have no trash ordinance?
correct.
Well, we don't enforce it anyway, so
Right.
maybe we should repeal it.
Yep. I agree.
I'm not sure it's enforceable. I mean,
It's unconstitutional, it's too gray, and
That's what I'm saying.
there's no way, there's too much,
There's no teeth.
none. And to
No, well, we
enforce it,
don't-
we'd be
yeah.
putting liability on our backs for litigation.
Yeah.
So we can
So for
discuss
next
it.
time.
Yeah.
The process is that we have a discussion, we make a vote, we decide to do it, we post it in 5 locations, we have a public hearing, and then we have a 30-day appeal period. Same as adopting one.
Okay. Thanks for checking into that. That's
Yeah.
good.
And,
Do we have to have a public meeting? You
yeah,
sure?
it's part of it's the same as an
The
adoption.
process.
Yeah. So we do like a,
Right, but with an adoption, you don't have to have a public hearing, do you, unless there's a file and somebody files, unless somebody files against you. It
I'd have-
just comes.
No,
have to
when
check
you're
on-
creating a policy?
it's
Yeah,
not
or
a
an
policy,
ordinance.
it's an
Ordinance.
ordinance.
An ordinance, I mean,
There's a public
I
hearing.
kinda-
We do it like a 15 minutes before
we
the meeting.
can, I
Yeah.
agree with you, and I'm not against it, I'm just not confident that we have to. Because
Okay.
I was involved in several dozen ATV ordinances with
Right,
towns.
because we didn't do one for the
And then we make the decision, if then the 30-day appeal period starts, and if no one appeals, it becomes,
It goes into effect.
it goes into
Yeah,
effect.
maybe
You
don't
don't
have to
not
do
have
that.
to have. We have
So you
had,
double
I know
check
that,
on that before
I
next
know that
time.
we've had public meetings before, just for shits and giggles.
Yeah.
But it's not required, I don't believe it's required, and I
Okay.
don't care if we do for this one,
Yeah.
I mean, either, but I'm just saying, it's,
Probably not.
the way we have public hearings, 15 minutes before the select board meeting, if you wanna come talk, it gives people a chance, that's fine, I'm just.
Although historically, people have not taken us up on
No.
that opportunity.
No, that's
And
right.
if people are interested, we are gonna be bringing it up for discussion next time. it
Because
sounds like.
once we rescinded the ordinance, we've made our decision, so there's no reason to have a public hearing at that point, because we can't change our mind.
Mhm.
Right.
They still have to appeal, and then then the public process starts.
Through the appeals.
Through the appeal.
But if
Because
you,
we decide,
Yeah.
and if nobody appeals it, it's a done deal. But if someone appeals it within 30 or 45 days, whatever it is,
Then there's a process.
then there's a public process, which does include, but I'm pretty sure. But either way, it doesn't matter, it's just as easy to post one, but we should do it before the meeting that we vote on it.
After we make the vote is where we post that it will be repealed.
After we make the vote, and there's a.
I'll check on the
appeal
timing.
period,
I'll
right.
check on the timing.
I know there's an appeal period.
Yeah.
And if
I
no
don't know
one
when the
appeals-
postings, if they can be before the meeting or after.
No, but I'm saying if we're gonna have a public information, we want the public information before we vote,
Yeah.
not after we vote.
so really, ideally, the easiest thing for us would be if it's on our agenda for June 5th.
That
If people
essentially
showed
shows
up,
up, that's
That would
essentially
be
the public,
perfect.
that's the public meeting, it's on our agenda, to rescind the trash ordinance. That's the public warning.
And we're talking about it now, if anybody's listening.
Yep, so you need
And
to be
the
here. because
agenda
we're gonna
will be
decide.
posted.
Everybody's listening.
Everybody's
Yeah,
listening.
Tune in.
Because we're gonna decide. Now, if we decide and someone doesn't like our decision,
They can appeal.
they can appeal, and then that starts the next process, right?
Yeah, great. Any other, select board reports, new business or old business?
No, but I appreciate you stirring up a little gray matter up here that I haven't used in a while.
Yeah, look at that, reaching back.
Yeah, huh?
All right, oh, we still have some things to sign, but otherwise,
I'm not.
The,
Oh.
oh,
speaking
the
of
stuff
our
is right here.
There's our
Hang
town
on.
health officer.
Jan, you got nominated.
All right,
so there's
Town
two
health
pages
officer.
for you, Eric, and then there's, I believe, one page for the whole board.
Took it well.
Yep.
Thank you, guys.
I don't have the one that has the whole board, I don't, unless that's the one that flew on the
I signed
floor.
that one.
You did,
So,
on the floor?
So there's no way to get Nancy to clean up that fucking mess.
Not quite, we're gonna sign this stuff
I
first.
mean, I've carried out the.
So we just need to get the bond paperwork signed.
It's your
You.
sign.
Hot Mike,
What, did I sign this?
have we adjourned?
If you like.
We have not.
We have not adjourned yet, we're still signing
Oh.
the bond paperwork. I'm trying to hold everybody hostage while we sign.
Barry, she just don't wanna leave.
She wants to be health officer. All right, so thank you, everyone. We adjourn. Appreciate everybody's participation tonight.